Heads obviously have their own preferred leadership styles and also their own preferred model of a leadership team. When I started, I was really mindful of creating a group that would be seen as the leaders of the school, and I wanted to also enfranchise the business side of the school as well as the educational side of the school. We created our SLT, or Senior Leadership Team, and that comprises our Educational Leadership Team, or ELT, and our BLT, our Business Leadership Team. Let me focus on our ELT. We meet regularly, once a week. We also have our own particular, obviously, areas of responsibility. In a school like this, we have a head of junior school or a head of primary school and a deputy head of primary school. And then in the secondary context, we have our Dean of Students and our Dean of Studies. It's very important for us that we have our counsellor and our chaplain involved in our school leadership team, because what we want to do is make sure that we are looking after our staff and looking after our students. Our deputy shadows everything that I do, and that's part of the training program and succession planning for her and for her role, but also provides invaluable backup and support for me. We are all very keen to make sure that we are seen as pedagogical leaders within the school. So even our counsellor will lead teacher training sessions or professional learning sessions, usually based on her area of expertise. So it might be something about how we choose groups in a classroom, something as basic as that, or how we indeed deal with some of the challenges that our adolescent girls might be facing from time to time. All of the members of ELT are involved in classroom visits, with the exception of the counsellor and the chaplain. We're all involved in annual teacher reviews. We also have huge contact with the girls. Let me tell you something about the journey of ongoing professional development and professional learning that we've undertaken here, but always keeping in mind the student. And so one of the questions we constantly ask ourselves is, what's best for the student? What's best for our girls here at St Aidan's? So if we keep that in the front of our mind when we're making decisions, we figure we can't go wrong in terms of our decision-making process. Like a lot of schools, we've had a renewal and learning development process over a number of years. When I first started in 2000, we created as our vision for the school to be recognised as the premier girls' school in Queensland. And our journey since that time has been, I guess, gathering momentum and building the concrete examples to enable us to fulfil that vision. In 2006, we did what we think is our first whole staff conference. We took every single member of our staff away for a two-day conference that included the maintenance guys, the teacher aides, the library aides, the secretaries, as well as, of course, the teaching staff. And we used Jim Collins's book, Good to Great, as the unifying organiser, if you like, for that particular conference. What we looked at was, I guess, the centrally held theme is that the enemy of truly great schools is good schools. We would like to think that we are a good school, and in fact in 2006 that we were a good school, but we knew we wanted to be better, and so we framed at that time some of the characteristics contained in Collins's book in terms of good to great, but we also used the feedback from a 2005 parents survey to help guide our direction. And I'd like to think that that conference was in fact the tipping point of our move really to our pathway to be a great school and to be a great professional learning community. We, I guess, renewed that vision again in 2010 when we did a second whole staff conference, again 2 days away, and this time we used the Peter Sheehan book Flip as our organising theme. And again, we took feedback from a 2009 parents survey. We started to look at the increasing level of accountability and transparency created by the My Schools website and the release of the NAPLAN data, particularly publicly, and we used all of that to kind of create, well, what's the urgency? And if you like to use some of the Cotter's work in terms of the 8 steps of change, What particularly the Flip conference was able to do for us was to create that burning platform, to create a sense of urgency for our staff that no matter how hard we're working and how committed we are to our girls' education, we have to continually do more. We can't sit back and think that what we're doing is good enough, because whatever was good in the past won't be good enough into the future. And now we have a common language with all of our staff, so that even new members of staff, when they join our school community here, can be taken on that journey.